So Obi-Wan came out the other day, May 26th, in fact. I believe it came out. They put it out a little early, and I'm seeing a lot of mixed reactions on it. I haven't watched it. I just want to let you know, I want to put that out there. I have not watched the show. In fact, I refuse to watch the show because the first thing that Lucasfilm decided to do was try to get ahead of critics and silence them by calling them racist. Right away, actually. I just want to let you know that. This came out on May 23rd. I did a whole video on this and why I'm not going to watch the show. But I did say if something crazy happens, I would talk about it. And something crazy did happen. I want to show you this because it's kind of crazy. I don't know where I side on this one. I think as someone who knows Star Wars, I understand it, but I hate trigger warnings. And I think comparing this to what happened in Texas is kind of crazy. Okay, so let me break down what happened here. So I've read up on it a little bit to try to get an idea. I know what happens in the 2 episodes. I've seen the spoilers. I've watched reviews. I watched Heel versus Babyface put a review on it. I watched his. And when Nerdrotic puts one out, if he hasn't already, I haven't looked. I'll probably watch his too. And that'll be enough. I'll just watch people's reviews of them. I refuse to watch the series and give any kind of numbers, pirate or legitimate, to this series. But what happens is in the beginning, so you have this new character, Reva. She's the Inquisitor chick who the show is going to center around, I promise you. This is why they're getting ahead of that and calling critics racist. Oh, you don't like that a show called Obi-Wan Kenobi wasn't about Obi-Wan Kenobi? Okay, bigot. I think that's a fair criticism. If I tune into a show called Obi-Wan Kenobi, I want to watch a show about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, maybe it won't end up like that. I don't know. I'm not going to watch it on the principle that I think Lucasfilm is a trash studio and everything that they put out is trash. They think the fans are trash. They don't want you as a fan. They want a whole new audience. Well, this is the audience that they wanted, and they got them, and now they've got to deal with it. So you have this new character, Reva, right here, and she's obviously a former Jedi. She's an Inquisitor, right? So at the beginning of the series, there's a recap, and I guess that's the best part, recapping the prequels. Recaps the prequels for a real quick minute and shows the rise of Darth Vader, right? And there's a scene at the beginning of the series of a bunch of Padawans in the Jedi Temple when it gets massacred by Vader and that battalion of clone troopers. Now, as someone who knows Star Wars, I know that. And the reason that they're showing that scene, obviously, is because they're going to show, throughout the series, there's going to be flashbacks of this woman's turn to an Inquisitor and the dark side. And they have to do that because they have to humanize the character, because there's no way they're going to let a character like this stay evil. So they're going to redeem her somehow, and she'll become a good guy and the savior of the series. From what the spoilers say, and these could be wrong, but if you don't want to know spoilers, and in my opinion, you shouldn't care, because F this show, F Lucasfilm for the way they treat the fans. Apparently, she has she has a moment where she's able to kill Luke Skywalker because Obi-Wan's not there, and she doesn't do it. And the reason that Luke Skywalker is alive is because she spared his life. That's the rumor. Whether or not that's true or not, I don't know. But that Jedi Temple scene has people all kinds of triggered. They don't really show a lot of the triggering in this. And I think it's ridiculous. Now, I understand what happened in Texas, and I think that that's awful. It's an awful situation. And people are talking about there's a lot of conversations around the Second Amendment right now, but I'd like to know why no one's talking about funding mental hospitals, by the way. Real quick sidebar on that. In case you didn't know, mental hospitals are shutting down all over the place. Why don't we fund that? That's a question that I wonder, every time, like no one talks about that. And I think it's important. We have a lot of money that we send all over the world. Why can't we fund mental health? It's a question that you should think about. But anyway, we have that scene, and then we have a Star Wars scene. Disney, I'll defend them on this, did nothing wrong. That's already established. Everyone's already seen that. There's a scene in Revenge of the Sith where you see all of that happen. It's in Revenge of the Sith. Now, you don't see any kind of blaster moment, right? But, I mean, who hasn't seen that movie and is watching Obi-Wan Kenobi? Nobody. Everybody that's watching this series has seen all of the Star Wars movies. I think that that's a fair assumption. Nobody tunes in to watch Obi-Wan Kenobi that hasn't seen Star Wars. It's just that doesn't make any sense. That's ridiculous thought. And I think the idea of a trigger warning is stupid for this because you know what you're getting into. It takes place after Revenge of the Sith, and it's obvious that they were going to somehow reference that, especially with that Reva character. But Data Racer 117 captured a lot of the nonsense on social media. People demanding that they add that trigger warning scene, which they did do. Contains violence involving little ones. There's going to be more of that, by the way, especially if they show how they twisted former Jedi to the dark side. What do you think is going to happen with these characters? What do you think is going to happen to them? They're going to, like, they literally, from what I understand, would torture children to turn them evil so they would become inquisitors. That's what they did with a lot of the Padawans, if I'm right about that. I didn't watch a lot of the Clone Wars series. Or did they get introduced in... They got introduced in Rebels, I'm sorry. I think that's the first time they... Is that the first time they mentioned Inquisitors? I could be wrong on that. I didn't watch much of Rebels. Though I did think the idea of the Inquisitors was pretty cool. But anyway, a lot of people upset. Data Racer 117 making a nice collage of people out here. All of them supporting the current thing in their handles, as you can see. Or they are part of the pronoun gang. You got one up here. Mr. McKnight is... he's not. This is a Chuck... They McKnight, not so there would be. That's an interesting question. So if your pronouns are they them, what are you if you're not a Mr. Miss? So are you an X? Hello, X. Doesn't really have the same appeal to it, if you ask me. But X McKnight very upset. Okay, huge trigger warning needed for the first few seconds of Obi-Wan. Given recent events, it literally starts off with the attack of Jedi younglings in the temple. They put school. No, if anything, it's more of like a private university. I don't know. So there is a school in there, but it's not for... I mean, the Jedi literally go there for life. If anything, it's more of a church, to be honest. It's like a church because, I mean, it is somewhat kind of a religion. What the F was Disney thinking releasing this? Well, when are they going to release it? They put this around or Star Wars Celebration. What do you mean, what were they thinking? They're not going to just change it. They have no control over what happens. And they probably thought it's kind of a stretch. I mean, this is not the same thing. The first scene nearly made me vomit. Not an Obi-Wan spoiler, but a gentle warning. So a lot of people very upset. Seems like mostly people that support the current thing that are upset about it. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I gotta say, I don't think Disney did anything wrong here. But here comes the merchants legacy media, talking about how this is just an awful thing. I mean, this is the audience that you wanted, Disney. Maybe I'm wrong, though, but I don't see the comparison to a fantasy show and what's going on in the real world. And this is nothing new. Anyone that's watched Revenge of the Sith knows this was going to happen. I think people look for things to get upset about. And, like, oh, here's this. Now I can just join in on the social media outrage. That's what it looks like to me. Anyway, let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What are your thoughts? Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, make sure to follow me over on Twitch. I do watch parties, play video games over there. They're always fun. Follow me over there and come hang out. Also, make sure you subscribe to YellowFlash, my other channel. There's a link to that in the description as well. I do a lot of live streams over there that I don't do on this channel. Usually smaller and a little bit more personal. So make sure you follow me over there and sign up.